this video early so that I can go back to Edutainment for Us channel and do something else. So guys, if you're watching me on this channel and you love what I do, I also ask you to support me on Edutainment for Us channel, my channel that I've pinned down there, because it's almost getting to monetization, but I'm struggling with watch hours. So guys, support your sister here to get some money from this channel, guys. So how about today? How is the going? Of course, I hope you're fine. And subscribe to the channel, like the video, and put on the notification bell so that in case you like what I do, you are informed all the time I post a new video. I'm so sorry yesterday I was not able to do a video. I was actually drained, unwell, and therefore I did not make it. I'm not saying today I'm so fine, but at least you can even feel my throat is now clearing slowly by slowly as I take the medicine. Now let me do this video and go back to Edutainment for Us, do another live stream, then call it a day, waiting for Saturday. Yeah. So guys, Alfred Keter actually had to explode at Ruto after shocking Gideon Moi deal. Now he revealed stunning information to Kenyans. Let's just check on this. And I want you to look at this and see what you think about this. So of course, Gideon was supposed to present his papers to IBC by today too. His party members kept waiting for him. Unfortunately, as they kept waiting, he did not show up, and they were quite annoyed at that. But let's start with what somebody said here before we come to that. Just a short video on something here.
Yesterday, William Ruto met with Gideon Moi at State House. And this is how Alfred Keter responded. William Ruto is very desperate.
So actually, Kipto Keter said something about William Ruto is very desperate. Let him compromise as many leaders as he can. But the people are not boarding. One term is one term. Hey, my goodness. Swastiko 123, welcome. Math law, Math law is like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? The law of mathematics is wondering, what is this? Okay, so let's look at this.
Chama yako omba kura, lakini kama sitaki chama yako utanilazimisha nini? Mwingine alikuwa anasema Buzeki, tunakupea mpaka Desemba ukuje UDA. Nini? UDA hawajanuzia sera ile imeniguza kichwa. Na nimesikia vile wamesema sera yao ingiani na mimi siwezi ingia UDA. Kwa hivyo hata usinalazimishe. You know, and I'm being sincere. Mimi nataka Wakenya wote wapone. If they had agendas that will serve Kenyans and will bring change, I will support them with my eyes.
Oh my God. It's about the agenda. So, of course, of late, people are demanding for agenda. They don't want just a politician who will stand up and say that we want one term. But still, there are those who are still saying one term. So, Kenya, it's at crossroads, if I can say. Politically, what I've observed is that people are at a crossroad. And that is why, when you look at Baringo's situation, for example, people really relied on Gideon to vie, you know. And I want to show you a video here. People are waiting for him. Somebody was like, my loyalty lies with any political mentor. Gideon keeps a say toward Moi. It is what it is. Do you see that? Somebody posted that. That was Cornelius Rono who posted that. And so people are waiting for Gideon. Scott Robin, welcome here. Thank you so much for showing up. Hi to you. Big up to Scott Robin. And thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, so let's look at this. I know some customers will be coming very soon, so let me just try.
just want to say that we are waiting for Honorable Gia, our party leader in Kano, to come and present his papers. And we hope he has no roadblocks between where he is now, his Kabarak, to Kabarnet. So we are waiting for him enthusiastically. Secondly, this is a democratic nation, so Honorable Gideon should be allowed to come and present his papers, because the people of Baringo are prepared to vote for him in unison. And I want you to take this statement to the bank today. Yetu tu tumeshangaa masaa inaenda, na mimi bado niko na imani kwamba Gideon Moi atakuja kupeana makaratasi zake, na kama hatakuja, nafikiri kama sisi kama mfuasi itabidi tumepeana makaratasi zake. Kama sheria inakubali tutapeana makaratasi zake, kwa sababu hatuwezi wacha Gideon Moi ni kingpin wetu wa Baringo. Na sisi kama watu wa Baringo tunaangalia mbele.
All right. Scott Robin, I said hi. Nilisema poa, and I've greeted you. I'm not cooking, and I said hi. It's only that you didn't hear. So I was actually showing up something in the video. So that's why I wouldn't respond so many times. But I was already said, Scott Robin, hi to you. And I hope you've got it. So big up to you and welcome here. I'm so glad you are here. If you are new, also remember to subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing, that is. You can also go check on my other videos, because this is not the first video I'm posting. I've done so many. So there is Swastiko 123, Math Law, Scott Robin, and anybody else in the house, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up here. It is a very good of you to actually support small YouTubers like myself, you know. Yeah, so thank you so much, Scott Robin. May I know where you are from or where you are watching from? I'll be glad to know. All right. So, why did Gideon Moi not show up with his papers? Were there roadblocks, as people are insinuating in the channel? Or did he have an agreement with Ruto? Because you can see actually for the fans to come up and say that they are ready to present papers, they really must be seeing something in you. Potential position. We had Edon Dwale saying that Gideon Moi should stop his shenanigans in Baringo. I don't know why he said that, but everybody in Kenya has equal, equal position to vie for MP or gubernatorial or whichever other post, senatorial. So I don't know. There is a time Edwin Dwale was actually indicating that Gideon Moi should stop his foolishness. And I was like, what do you mean? Is vying for post foolishness? So I don't know what happened that Gideon Moi actually did not show up even by 2. Scott Robin is saying, I live in Kenya, home 4th Avenue. 4th Avenue. 4th Avenue where we have Parklands, it has up to 4th Avenue. When you go to this place where I trained writing, it has also 4th Avenue. When you come to Tasha, so where exactly? Okay, no problem. I'm glad you are in Kenya. Thank you so much for your support. All right. So, Frederick, welcome here. Thank you so much for showing up. There's a photo here I wanted to show. I'm just looking for it. Why is Kalonzo Musyoka looking frustrated in the first place? Frederick, hi, big up to you. Look at that photo. This posture represents frustration. So what's happening? So let's listen to the Queen's perspective and understand.
And politics, I've always told you, is a perceptional game. If Gideon Moi want to join Kalonzo Musyoka officially, one thing was going to happen.
No problem, bora mmeleta mafuta. A lot of discussions when I'm doing a video. All right, guys, so let's proceed into this. So you actually realize there must be, according to many reactors, or rather the national analysis, there has been a secret deal between Ruto and Gideon. Frederick anauliza anataka nini mtoto? Mtoto hataki kitu, anaongea tu. Anaongea vile ameenda akapata nini, si kwamba anataka kitu, right? Or are you talking about Gideon Moi? All right, so of course Gideon Moi, according to leaks, it seems there was a deal between him and Ruto. Of course, Gideon Moi was trying to create such a big deal in Baringo, and no wonder we had whatever happened. And when he stops to present his papers, then it means he had an agreement. You know, in political situations, when people are bought, they cannot go against the agreement. They will be threatened. There will be deals. There will be promises. So they'll just play around with the followers, and then that is it. Unfortunately, I believe that if Gideon Moi took such a move and betrayed the followers, and yet they were trusting that he's the kingpin of Baringo, then he's actually let himself down politically. You know, there's a political death we create ourselves based on what we do. The choices we make today determine our tomorrow, right? And that's what I believe, that if at all Gideon Moi accepted to be bought, he really had to mess himself. Anyway, there is a regret for Raila as Boyd Were gave a speech at Kaspul. Let's just check on that before we get to another story of Kalonzo Musyoka. Then we'll be coming back to more Sifuna actually doing a bunker on GACHAGUA. All right, here we are. Nuro Okanga has not learned even after he had been pulled down by Akote.
Tumwache huyo kijana ajiongelele mwenyewe. Mnafunzwa na Kasipul. Wacheni huyo kijana ajiongelele mwenyewe. Aongee mpaka mnamfundisha speech. Wewe utakuwaje mbunge na una Wamama fire! Wazee fire! Vijana mpo! Sisi kama wana Kasipul tuko ndani ya broad based. Tuko ndani kabisa. Ndio tuweze kuleta maendeleo hapa Kasipul. Mkiongozwa na kijana mdogo Boyd Were. Dodalawa an adwa kuwe Kasipul ka. Asebeduka campaign Kasipul mangi.
That is so unfortunate.
David Wafula pulled out that one and I found it so funny. Is that a speech really? Is that a speech? That doesn't look like a speech, is it? How can a whole person want to replace, you know? You want to replace a political aspirant. Well, Frederick, ako sawa. Ako sawa na anashout. Anashout tu, wazee mpo, wamama mpo, vijana mpo. Why can't he say what he can do for Kaspul? We are just looking at the speech. Anyway, he might be okay in terms of actions, what he can do for the people. But I'm just looking at his speech, guys. That is a very funny speech. You know, he's really struggling and people are coming to his ear to actually direct him. Let him speak for himself, actually. But I don't know. I just don't know. Because, again, in politics, funny thing about politics is that you have to be articulate. You have to have the power to actually convince people. One thing with, for example, if you look at William Ruto, the reason why he really easily made it, he really knows how to, is it fooling people, persuading, convincing, you know, kupanga na kutenga. Oh my God. Let me not divert. Anyway, it is what it is.
Ndio tutapata nafuu. Ikijengwa ile kitu ambayo haiwezi kuvunjwa, tutapata nafuu. Wacha kuongea mambo mengi kuhusu mpaka. Hii watu ni Mungu tu anaweza zuia hapa. Hakuna mtu anaweza hawa. Tumeongea Kiswahili.
Maongea Kiswahili?
Kwa nini alafu unaniuliza?
Peleka kwa Ruto.
Sawa, nitapeleka kwa Ruto. Ndio unaogopa peke yake.
Larry might not know it, but that passenger is the MP of Kibra, Peter Orero. And
Frederick anasema Boyd ako sawa, anataka to support. All right. You people will tell us whether you will actually put him in parliament or not. But from where I stand, actually his speech, he needs to work on his speech. I think if someone really wants to vie for a post, they can acquire people who can polish their speech and then they can make it. Of course, Were here, Were the MP of Kibera actually had to abuse. He had to abuse Larry Madoa, as you've seen in this video here. All right. In the video here, let me just play it again. Let me play it again.
Also going to wrong side. Nika block. Halafu kaniambia. Kwa nini halafu unanikuza?
Peleka kwa Ruto.
Sawa, nitapeleka kwa Ruto. Ndio unaogopa peke yake.
That is a whole MP breaking rules and doing whatever he wants. Maheswar Bonare, thank you so much for showing up again. This is about the 4th time I've seen you. Big up to you. Welcome, Maheswar Bonare. Hi to you and welcome on board. Thank you so much. So today, Sifuna had to banga GACHAGUA. Sifuna is saying we don't just need the one-term ideology whereby we are trying to sweep away Ruto while we are maintaining GACHAGUA. Guys, politics is not easy. Walisema siasa. Siasa si mchezo wa nyumbani. All right, I'm back. All right. So let's just check for this video from Sifuna. Sifuna actually talked, indicating that we are just running into hey, there's a baby outside crying, the neighbor's baby. Videos, because it will affect monetization. Yeah, so the neighbor's baby wailing like no business.
Projects in that app. Oh, wow. You're really working your apps off, Daniel. You need ClickUp. Support.
Ukisema Ruto must go na wengine wenu mlikuwa wakati ule na nani? Na Ruto huyo ambaye mnasema ni mbaya. Sasa hivi wanasema
tumetumwa sisi ni project, kwa sababu unajua kuna wazee ambao wewe
the mountain can be divided. It's nonsense. Oh, sijui Jubilee can compete with this piece. Nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen,
ukiwa na sufuria kwa kichwa na
Yeah, so of course you've been seeing Gachagua actually humming the tune of one term, one term, one term, one term, one term. I don't know how far it is, but so far now Sifuna is rejecting this narrative. Sifuna today came out ballistic on, the aspect of one term. And what he did, he is actually telling Gachagua, you are in the previous government. Tone down on your demands. How do you see this? Because it has come up as Sifuna has been actually attacking Ruto. But now he's changing the narrative. He has begun now attacking Gachagua. Do you think this is a new move, or what exactly is happening? Now, people, I may not be seeing who is chatting. You know, when there is an interruption on my channel, somehow a call or that interruption of network, I'll be checking on the phone to see, on the computer to see those who are calling or chatting. Let's see what Sifuna has to say here.
wakati huo hata Rigathi Gachagua bado alikuwa na nani? Alikuwa na William Ruto. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuwaomba wale viongozi walioko haswa kwenye upinzani, kama unakubaliana na kauli ya walio wengi wa Kenya kwamba lazima tumfanye Mheshimiwa Ruto one term president, tusitoe cheche ama semi ambazo zinapelekea kuwadhulumisha wengine wenye mawazo sawa na yenu. Unanielewa? Kwa hivyo hii mambo ya kuita watu project kwa sababu wewe unataka uonekane ni kana kwamba Kenya hii we have only a choice of 5 people. It is not possible. The people who are better than William Ruto in this country are more than 50 million. We are 55 million people. You cannot tell me we cannot find somebody who is better than William Ruto. So wasitufanye ama wafanye wa Kenya wafikirie kwamba ni watu watano tu walioko kwenye opposition, ati kama si huyu ni huyu ama si huyu ni huyu. Kenyans have choices. Kenyans have choices. Na hata hapa Busia kuna mtu amesimama urais. Kwa nini amuniulizi mambo yake? Sauti.
That is Sifuna for you. So Sifuna is actually working against this narrative of one term that Gachagua has been selling. Let's just check on something Gachagua said the other day.
the other day he called the people of Kiambu and told them to remove themselves to the rest of the mountaineers. The other day he called the people of Meru and told them to remove themselves from the other mountaineers. Even today, he's cheating the people of Murang'a that they have never led and it's their time to lead. And we know for sure he has prepared a small blue wheelbarrow to confuse the people of Murang'a so that he can cheat them to have a presidential candidate whom he is sponsoring, whom he is spending money on to come and divide the votes in Murang'a.
So, of course, Gachagua had talked about this aspect of projects while referring to so many other individuals that are coming up. And Sifuna feels like he's being considered a project too. Just like they are calling Natembea project. Who knows? You know? And also Gideon and many others. We also saw the situation of Northeastern, you know. So this narrative is not really occurring well with some people, and that is why they are saying they don't want to be called projects. So let's see. Maybe down the line, as some people defend the aspect that they are not projects, are they projects or not? What do you think? Is anybody a project? Is Natembea a project? Do you think the guy the guy Matiang, is he a project? Do you still think that who else has been mentioned as a project? I'm forgetting others anyway. But we've had so many people who have been indicated as projects in this aspect of politics. So what do you think? What do you think? Of course, even Babu Win at some point was mentioned that, and I was like, are you serious about this? Are you serious about this?
To impeach him, yes. When I heard him speak, I said, I wash my hands like Nani.
nimeshtuka ikabiri. Itanisumbua. Ufunguo wa store? Oh. All right, back after serving the client. Sometimes you have to stand up and stop from the live stream, go serve a customer before you come back. Sorry for that, but you'll have to understand sometimes business and business. You may not reject a customer actually, because you just have to serve them. You started a business, they have to be served. So going down with the analysis before a customer came, at the same time my computer actually misbehaved. But we saw what Sifuna is saying. All right, I agree with partly what Sifuna is saying here. The fact that we have to tolerate others and not call them project. But what if we have projects? Because that is the reality about our politics. We know so much that during political times, some people just vie for those positions to be bought. And that is what we call projects. So Sifuna is speaking, yes, the truth. But we have also to accept that we have projects in these political moments. All right? Now let's also look at another blow. There is a current blow on Ruto. Actually, currently, I understand that Miguna is strongly supporting Kalonzo's camp. All right? So this is a blow to Ruto, because if there is one person who can do anything for anything, it's Miguna. All right? He doesn't necessarily support people for growth or benefits, but he does it because he wants to. So far Miguna has actually stood with Kalonzo Musyoka. Now let's just check on something here. You remember in 20, was it in 20 what? How Miguna came up and spoke this?
Must be opposed. And if they arrest any of us, they say the harassment of our members and NASA elected leaders, the illegal arrest of Kajuan must be condemned, must be opposed. And if they arrest any of us, they say.
That is the man Miguna. Miguna is now strongly standing behind Kalonzo's camp, and therefore this one should cause some fear in the current aspect of a political situation. At the same time, we have something going on in relation to Babu. Of course, Babu Owino strongly standing with Kalonzo Musyoka. So when you look at that, that should cause a lot of shivers in the current government, you know. And away from that, there is something else we have to talk about, maybe to cover our 40 minutes. Let's talk about this. Teresa, kuja nikutume.
But I stand here to tell you, we are not.
Enda huko ndani unichukulie sote. Nilifikiria nimechukua hapa lakini.
It's a plight of our young people, the Gen Z generation, bold, creative, and courageous, took to the streets to demand justice, to demand jobs, to demand dignity and accountability. But their voices on June 25th, 2024 were met not with dialogue, but with bullets and intimidation. A government that silences its own children has lost the right to lead, Wazalendo and Zango. But I stand here to tell you, we are not doomed. Kenya can rise again, and Kenya will rise again. under a patriotic administration, and together with our partners, we shall build a nation that works for all, not for a select few. We will deliver a 24-hour economy that ensures all of us are part and parcel of growing our basket, and together we shall lower the cost of living. Cost of fuel and electricity must be lowered if we are to get these jobs back to our industry, if we are going to yet again attempt to industrialize our country. Transformational.
So, all right. You have been hearing the government saying that people are only demanding for one term and yet they don't have a plan. Funny enough, after Maraga came up to launch his party and his, presidential position, and actually straight away stated what he wants for his party, now the rest are towing the line. We can hear now Kalonzo Musyoka talking about what Wiper stands for. And of course, I hope the rest of them will pursue those aspects. Even Sifuna, come up with your member. You said in Busia we have a member vying for presidential position, and I think that is Wamutata. And now tell us exactly what do you stand for. So that now we have people comparing notes and deciding for once who has to go for this position. But just by the virtue of telling us that it's not necessarily 5 people, and then you are not telling us why what you stand for is not enough.
Projects like the High Grand Falls Dam that will generate 700 megawatts of electricity, a Vision 2030 project under Kibaki and ourselves, must be activated, not entrepreneured. We will cut unnecessary taxes, such as a punitive affordable housing levy that is nothing short of quindy to steal from Kenyans. We have said time and again, Executive Order number 1, get rid of housing levy. We will have an affordable, relatable, and predictable policy that not only addresses our challenges but also considers the vast opportunities in manufacturing, in agriculture, in education, and in blue economy. Our economy be driven by innovation and integrity, not corruption and coercion. We will
Hey, I'm waiting to listen to more and more. And actually now, as candidates now begin to come up with their plans, that's better. That's better politics. But the politics of just one term may be a narrative that is neither there nor there, because what are we fighting for? As we go for one term, what are we going for? So you've seen that once Maraga did we call it, in the Bible, they always say that before Jesus Christ came, who was there? There was John the Baptist. So John the Baptist actually has been Maraga. Maraga came up the other day and cleaned the way for the rest of the politicians by telling them it's better you state what you stand for instead of just stating the ills of the current government, and also stating that you want to remove the one, you want one term. One term should not be only the gate to the next government, because people will be like, yeah, of course you told us our policy was to remove the current, and so there is one term. But we also have to get parties coming up to tell us what they are standing for, what they will do for Kenyans, so that they are also accountable. So that once they step in and they are not serving, they also go for one term. And that will be the way to go for Kenya. If only that will happen just like it happened in Malawi, it will be for the good of the Kenyans, actually, so that we don't have leaders who believe they'll always go for 10 years without non-stop,
to create 3 jobs for the youth. Every county will have a functional youth enterprise fund. Remember, youth enterprise fund swept under the carpet. Which will be transparent and theft-free. We'll establish technology hubs, create centers and local industries to absorb young talent. Professionalism, not rooterism, will get you a job. Wazalendo wenzangu, I promise you this. The Wiper Patriotic Fund's Director of Elections will not become your next chairman of Kenya Revenue Authority. That will never.
No child should ever be denied education because of poverty. We will fund our schools adequately, value our teachers, and recognize vocational skills alongside academic qualifications. Re-education, not those fake self-appointed degrees, but must once again be the bridge to opportunity. Our patriotic administration will restore dignity and meaning to our schools and our universities. We will not be a striking nation.
All right. So currently you realize that Kalonzo Musyoka is making a day using the exact aspect that are missing out in the current government. So on the highlights,
these and other empowerment.
Wiper has decided to come up with strategies to prove on what will happen. Okay.
Politics can finally break the ceiling that has long kept him on the margins of power.
It is a kind of
He wins him battles in Kenya's bruising political contests.
Sio lazima uwe kwa mtu ambaye unakuja kuzungumza kwa ukali. Sio lazima uwe mtu ambaye anazungumza kwa sauti kubwa ndipo ujulikane wewe unaweza kuwa kiongozi. Kiongozi wa nchi sio kiburi, sio uongozi wa nchi haupimwi na kiwango cha kiburi chako.
And now, the man from Sekuru is in an even delicate balancing act with a united opposition whose every principle harbors presidential ambitions. Kalonzo must convince his peers that he is the best among equals to face William Ruto in 2027. That internal competition, though heavily downplayed by the principals, risks diffusing the opposition's energy even before Ruto's Kenya Kwanza, now with a broader political base, mounts its re-election machine. Also forming part of Kalonzo's dilemma are the...
All right. So, of course, people know that there are battles within the opposition as well, especially looking at what happened in Malava. With the opposition parties actually raising candidates from each circles to stand out as candidates there, and not just in Malava but in other different places. So if the opposition is still sitting within their specific parties and not the united, of course it gives room for them to keep having candidates from specific corners of whether UDA, Wiper, NDC, or whichever other party. So when you look at what happened at Malava, you cannot convince me that there are no battles within the opposition. Let me just check on some video here. Before I get to the exposure by Maverick on that. Let me see. Yes, of course, there have been battles in the opposition. Let's just check on this. Battles. Where is this video? Where is this? Yeah, but generally, if you've looked at Malava situation, you realize that there are battles from opposition because now, like, every party wants to front a candidate, and this becomes a problem because once you have fronting of candidates from each party, and all of them are from opposition, then that creates a war or a battle. And one of the typical examples is at Malava. I'm just looking for the video that would show that, but I'm not getting it that fast. But it's an actual disappointment to Kenyans when we see a battle starting to arise in the opposition. And of course, when you see now opposition, every different party standing out and trying to defend and prove that they are the best, automatically at some point they might create a crack within the opposition also. That's my take. I don't know. I don't know what it means for the rest of the people. Like recently when Gachagua pointed out that Natembeya is clean, he called him and informed him of whatever. He also talked about Kalonzo Musyoka as not being watermelon, but indicated that Matiang so far has not talked to him. Already that created a kind of crack from the opposition. So anatubishia huku kweli. Nimesikia lakini anabisha kule. Si hapa. And just the video is not anywhere. I don't know where it disappeared to, because I had a video earlier, but I can't track it. You know, sometimes they disappear just when you need them. But it is what it is. If you understand what is happening, actually you know what I know also. The fact that the opposition is actually coming up to show some sort of war. You know, even when you look at the situation of Gideon, you look at the situation of Northeast and what happened the other day, you look at what is happening at, Kaspul, you realize that there's a pull and push aspect in the opposition, with each party wanting to raise a member, and that becomes a problem. Let me just look on the computer to see maybe other people are checking in, because I can't check that on the phone currently. Let me check on this to see those who are on. Nobody so far is chatting. Nobody is chatting, so I'm okay. Yeah, so when you see things like Wiper delegates meeting to strategize, again, you see on the highlight something about UDA meeting to strategize. Then the other day we hear about NDC party meeting to strategize. And then whatever they say somehow is picked by bloggers or even the government itself of the day, or even anybody else. And the interpretation, you know, goes by individuals, you know. Let's just look at this.
First of all, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for graciously and kindly indulging me to make some remarks, because I'm traveling up country. First, let me start by congratulating you for a wonderful delegates conference you've had, and most importantly, for your nomination formally now as the presidential candidate for Wiper Patriotic Front. Secondly, thank you for making an excellent speech. I associate myself and support every word that you uttered from here. So in a sense, you actually spoke for all of us this afternoon. My fellow Kenyans, there are many things we could say at this point in time, but I want to say only two. One, every generation has a date with destiny, and every generation faces its own challenge. The one we face today in Kenya is to be true to ourselves and true to our country, and save our country from the challenges we have today. People have been saying that the mood in Africa is such that you cannot serve one term, but it's very difficult to remove a sitting president. I honestly think that that nonsense is now being sorted out, and you know what that is. So, Kenyan people, soon enough we will have our opportunity to do a good thing for this country, and follow suit and do what other good Africans have done where they have not been satisfied by service provision and service delivery. I honestly don't think we will let the Kenyan people down. Secondly,
Your Excellency, I want to repeat and exactly say what...
So Matiang'i actually came out to say that the nonsense in believing in two terms is actually nonsense. If other countries have spoken, why not Kenya? And he said this also.
We have agreed we must put ambition and everything else before the interests of this country. When we sit together, and should the united opposition, Your Excellency, decide that you will be the candidate, I will support you. We will support you. And I believe that when that time comes, or if we have differences of opinion, that is precisely because we are a group of people who are passionate and love their country. We do not expect that Kenyans want a government that looks like a boys' choir or a girls' quartet. It is supposed to be a group of people who are smart, who reason, who work together, who argue, then they come together and form one government. So, as we go forward, we will have our own active moments of fellowship. But we assure you that even during that fellowship, Kenya will be opportunity and priority number one as we go forward. So let us stay the course and continue to work together, and we will continue to work together. Today, tomorrow, and always, Kenya will remain that are happening, denying young people registration in parts of the country where people suspect they will not get votes, is setting the stage for anarchy. And I want to ask the IEBC.
So actually, Matiang'i had to come out to disclose some, barbaric aspects that are happening when some youth in some places are being denied registration just because their areas have been proven maybe to support the opposition. He also came up to say that, of course, he doesn't want a situation where the opposition is a choir singing one tune. It may allow ideological differences, only that now, at the end of the day, they have to decide to prioritize the country while showing their differences but coming out together. Because leaders come from different parts of the country, they have different personalities, they have different abilities, so there is no way they can be a quartet, a choir that sings in one voice. But at least what they do, they love the country, therefore they should prioritize it. Of course, Martha Karua had also to speak.
We say unite, liberate. Nikisema PLP, munanipatia unite, liberate. Kwa Kiswahili tunasema tuungane, tujikomboe. PLP. You can see, we are on a journey to liberate. And when I listen to my other brothers, what they say is about liberating the country. We are liberating the country of oppression. Someone's finger is on our throats. Someone's boots is on our throats. They are exploiting.
Yeah, so of course in that meeting so many people spoke. Tony Gashoka, we had Justin Muturi, we had so many other people speaking, all right? So let's hope for the best. We are waiting for 30 minutes to start something on entertainment for us, so let me rest for some minutes before I come back. Bye-bye.